Making a collage tree Christmas card. This is our example of a card, and you can see the different colors of paper and the different angles. And this one's decorated with a little bit of glitter. You can also decorate the strips with marking pen or crayon or colored pencils. You could also use bits of yarn. What you are going to do is you are going to go hunt around, and I bet you can find scraps of paper in the recycling or maybe even on your desk, or maybe bits of yarn, and you're just going to gather together all your little bits and have them in a pile. In your kit, you have a card. On your card, you're going to create your version of this collage Christmas tree. So I have some scrap paper from an earlier project, just a strip I cut off. That's a pretty cool strip. I have some bits of yarn, and I have some other scraps of paper. So I am going to just cut a bunch of strips. If you want to, before you cut them, you could color your scraps of paper. And then when you cut them, you will be cutting into the colors, and that is pretty cool too. You might want to use some decorative edge scissors. You will definitely need to use some regular sharp scissors. So I'm going to cut just some long strips. Don't worry about fitting them yet. They can be different widths. There should be lots of different colors because we want our trees to be colorful. Though if you want to have a tree that's all one color, that is fun too. So there's me a couple of those strips. Maybe I'll use my decorative edges on this one. I'll cut some of these. And the part I'm cutting off, I could use that too. All those little scraps you have lying around make these cards look great. And the more scraps and more colors you have, the more decorated they are. And then there's some yellow. Yellow's a nice bright color. Mix it in with everything else. I'm going to cut one big wide strip out of that one. And I think I'm going to have a star on my tree. And for my star, I'm going to cut some thin strips of this yellow, and I'll make my star out of the thin strips of yellow. I'll just cross them. Ooh, and I have some red scraps. So I'll cut my red scraps up too. And if the edges aren't perfectly straight, that makes it even more fun. So I'm going to clear my area just a little bit. Okay. Now for this card, what you're going to do with your glue is you're going to start right about here. And we are going to draw a line of glue from the top of the card down the card. Just one long line of glue. Not too thick, but not too thin. Set the glue aside. Then, with my little sharp scissors, I am going to lay a strip across and cut it and just give it a little poke. And maybe I'll take one of these decorative strips. And because a tree normally is kind of triangular, I'm going to make each strip a little longer than the last as I go down the tree. And I'll make each strip a little shorter than the last as it goes up the tree. And I won't lay them quite right next to each other yet because I want to mix this up quite a bit. I'm going to add in a little bit of yarn because yarn could be fun on this tree. Maybe I'll trim that end. Ooh, I could put that trimming on the tree because that's a little extra bit too. Here we have some more of our long green. That's all decoratively edged. I'm going to put that one on the bottom. Oh, it's a little too long, so I'll slide it over and I'll just tear that. I don't even have to cut that. Then let's see, I've got another bright green one. And see how it's curling up just a little bit? That makes it even more fun when they curl like that. This one I'm going to trim that off. Let's see, get another piece of decorative. See, I'm going to put this one across at an angle because that's fun. This is all about layering and layering. And if you run out of glue and you want to put another layer on top, just put a little more glue on top. That makes it fun too.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, let me get some more red in here. There's not very much red. So instead of putting on decorations, I'm just putting in different colors of paper or yarn. Like I say, everybody's got some yarn at home. I'm going to slide this underneath. Trim that one off. This tree is starting to look really good. I'll put a little more at the top there. Fill that in. But I still have to put a star on my tree because my tree, I want it to have a star. So I have all these little bits of yellow that I cut earlier. I'm going to pick them up. And I'm just going to cross them across that glue. They are going to be my Christmas star. You don't have to have a Christmas star. You could have nothing at all. You could have a red Christmas ball. You could make a little pine cone. Anything you wanted. Okay, so down here, I think my tree needs a trunk. I should put because the tree needs a trunk to stand on. At least my tree does. So I'm going to take some of this red scrap I've got, and I'm going to cut off a chunk that is going to become the trunk of my Christmas tree. And I'm just going to stick it right there. And that is my collage Christmas tree card. You're going to let this dry for at least 24 hours. And once it's dry, you can open up and write a message inside that says Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever message you want to send it to your friend or your family member to wish them a happy holiday.